If there's one place you can find things that are unexpected, it's under my bed. Either it's that or the bottom of my shoes because, man, do I step on some weird things. But in all seriousness, enough with the jokes. Today, we ain't joking around. Today, we are going to explore one place on the internet that ain't nobody expecting. Reddit. It's Reddit. I'm straight capping. Everyone has been on Reddit at some point, and most know this is the place that can have the most interesting yet the most disturbing things anyone can pretty much find on the face of the internet. Reddit has a multitude of different things ranging from interesting videos, cute pictures of animals, or the elevator tried to eat me. Hold up. Everyone lock in. Let's check this out. Y'all, this literally happened today. Father God, I went to my physical therapy and occupation therapy appointment a few hours ago. It's on the 3rd floor, so I have to take the elevator up after going through security. I used a walker because I'm busted and I walk relatively slowly. Imagine a snail on crutches, that kind of speed. There are 5 elevators that go to where I'm going. 3 close to the door you enter in and 2 around the corner. I prefer waiting for the 3 as they're closer to the entry door. A nurse was waiting there with me when an elevator around the corner opened up. It already had 3 dudes in it. The nurse hurried over and pressed the door open button for me. The sucker closed anyway before I made it over, but I didn't move and it opened again. I tried to scooch through quickly when the door suddenly closed as I was halfway in. It literally tried to squeeze me like a metal python. Thank God for my walker as it protected me. I pushed through, hurting my already busted leg, and the thing grabbed my purse. One of the men inside had to help me pull it inside the elevator. The elevator snatched my bag like a thief. My heart was pounding. The door slammed shut and screeched up to the designated floors. My nerves are already bad, so my anxiety was at a level 8. One guy had a smirk on his face. Apparently he thought it was funny. I was legitimately afraid. Anyways, after I finished my therapy sessions, I had to wait for the same elevators. I refused to make the same one, and thank God because it suddenly just stopped on the 3rd floor with the door halfway open and started buzzing loudly. Goodness gracious, I feel bad for this person. Elevators on their own are pretty nerve-wracking, and yet this happens. This has always kind of lingered in the back of my mind. Like, imagine holding the door for someone and sticking your hand out, yet the freaking door just crushes your hand instead. Heck no. Elevators are whack sometimes. Either they don't work, have something weird happen to them when you're pretty much about to get off, like the door is taking too long to open, or worst case scenario, which I pray doesn't happen to anyone. Ah, crap. Alright, next story. I don't know what we saw that night. I'm not posting this to scare anyone. I just need to put this somewhere because it's been stuck in my head for years. If anyone experienced something similar in the area, I'd love to hear about it. This happened when I was about 18 or 19. It was a summer night, probably late July or early August. It was warm out, so a friend and I had gotten into the habit of driving around late at night just to talk. We do loops outside the city, the kind of quiet, empty roads that cut through the French countryside. No real destination, just driving and talking. Windows cracked, music low. This one night it was around 1:30 a.m. The road was completely empty, no street lights, no visible houses, just open fields on both sides. We were going slow, maybe 50 kilometers per hour, talking about something personal. And then suddenly, my friend hits the brakes. He didn't yell or panic, just a sharp, reflective stop. And there, in the headlights, I saw a man crossing the road. He came out the field to our left, walking towards the one on the right. What immediately struck me was that he was completely naked. His skin was an oddly pale, flat beige, almost like a dull gray. But that's not what stuck with me. It was the way he moved. He didn't walk like a drunk or someone hurt. It was more like he didn't weigh anything. His steps were slow and floaty, almost like he was forcing his body to move forward. His arms hung loose, his head slightly tilted down. He never turned towards us. No reaction to the lights, no sound, nothing. He crossed slowly and disappeared into the field on the other side. We were silent for a couple of seconds. Then my friend muttered, "Was he naked?" and suddenly accelerated. We drove back toward the main road, not saying much. I wasn't scared exactly, but I felt this deep, uneasy knot in my stomach. Like, what I saw didn't make sense. Not just the man, but the entire moment. The next day, out of curiosity, we went back in the afternoon. We recognized the spot easily because of the twisted tree by the roadside. But then we looked around. There was nothing. No trail, no path, no house nearby. Just 2 big fields and the same quiet road cutting through. I have no rational explanation for what we saw, but I know what I saw. And I know it wasn't normal. Damn, going for a late night drive just to chill and talk it up, just to see a straight up naked person or whatever they saw in person just walk away just like that. Jeez, if that were me, I ain't driving late at night at all after that. Alright, this next one doesn't have a title exactly, so let's see what this is about. I've recently retired, but for 35 years was an IT manager. 20 of them at an insurance broker in Leeds, UK. Google Broadway Hall leads using Chrome and you'll see the building, 200-year-old mansion. I was often there after hours due to the nature of my job. The caretaker was off long-term sick. I was the nearest with the company car, so got lumbered with covering for him, which meant opening the place up at 7 a.m. and locking it up after the cleaners left at 9 p.m. The cleaners always said it was haunted, paper clips flying around, that sort of thing. But I don't believe that stuff unless I see it. It never bothered me being the only person in the place even after dark in winter. Just do the necessary, set the alarm, and lock the door. One of winter nights I was doing this on the 3rd floor. The easiest way to see if any office lights had been left on was going around the corridors with the corridor lights off. Any light from an office would show under the door. I went around the corner, past an open doorway to a small kitchen, and walked 20 feet to the end of the corridor. If the light in the kitchen had been on, it could not fail to have registered as I walked right past it 2 feet away and would have switched it off. Something made me turn around and the kitchen light was on. No way did I miss it. No beer had been taken as I was driving. Quite stunned, I went back and switched it on and left. To this day, I am convinced the kitchen light had been off when I walked past it, but I can't explain it. Other staff wouldn't work on the top floor after hours. They were too freaked out by the noise an old building makes. Anyway, I'm still cynical, but no idea what happened that time. Heck no, I'm sprinting. Once he or she said the place was like an office building and them being alone, oh nah. Being alone in an office kind of just reminds me of the back rooms. Ain't nobody around if something happens and you see the kitchen light turn on even though you swore it was off when you passed by. Nah, man. I could understand honestly why the others were freaked out when it came to the lights just turning on their own or someone being there. Dude, imagine it's just some employee is trolling somehow just to mess with the people working there. Heck no, I would honestly trip and crash out at the same time. Alright, this final story is a bit long and it looks like it was written by Shakespeare himself, so grab a snack if you want, take a pee break if needed, and let's begin. Night Shift Nightmare. True Scary Certified. My name is Daryl, and this is a story that took place in December of 2005. I worked the night shift at a hotel in Myrtle Beach. Summers there weren't too bad. We mainly dealt with families and golfers. The winter time was another story entirely. The winter meant times were hard for a motel to make money. To combat this, the motels would have super low weekly and monthly rates. The idea was to attract snowbirds, which is what we call older people from up north who would come down to enjoy a quiet, slow off season. The downside of this was it attracted an undesirable local element as well. These locals would often be drug addicts and criminals. We would have to deal with labs, domestic violence, thieves, and more. This element was at the root of one of the scariest experiences of my life. The night shift started off as usual. I came in, counted the drawer, and the person working second left. About 10 minutes later, my good friend and fellow employee, Andrew, stopped by. Andrew was a maintenance man who worked second shift at all 3 of the hotels owned by the company we worked for. This was our usual scheduled Andrew who would come by and grab us food. He would then hang out for a bit to keep me company because third shift was never busy this time of year. I went back to the office to grab money out of my wallet to give to Andrew to pay for my food. While I was back there, the door chime went off indicating someone had entered. As I came back into the front office, I saw Andrew fall right in front of me. I looked up just in time just to see a fist with a steel pipe coming towards my face. It connected with my jaw and I fell on one knee, blood filling my mouth. I then felt the pipe make contact with my head. I thought I heard say something about Andrew getting away. The next thing I know, the guy who hit me with the pipe turns and runs away out the door, followed by his friend, who I had not noticed before. I staggered to my feet and went to grab the office phone to call 911. As I was using the phone, blood starts running down my head into my face. I requested the police and ambulance only to have Andrew walk in with a police officer as I hung up. It seems like the friend of the man who had hit me was supposed to get Andrew while his friend pummeled me, but he had frozen up. Andrew was able to flag down a passing police officer to bring help. It is a lucky thing he did, because if not, I may have been killed. You see, I ended up being rushed into the ER where I had to get 13 staples in my head, and I was diagnosed with a severe concussion. I didn't even realize how bad the attack had been. When I got out of the hospital, I was shown a video of the attack. I thought the guy had punched me and then hit me once with a pipe, but I was wrong. I must have been out on my feet because I didn't remember any of this, but I kept trying to stand up and grab the pipe. The guy had alternated between punching me in the head and hitting me with the pipe like 10 times in all. I had terrible PTSD from this experience, but I still went back to work at the hotel on night shift after this happened. I was always nervous after that and was glad when I got a safer daytime job. Unfortunately, they never did find the guy who did it. Oh my goodness. I'm freaking speechless. I know this is technically a true story, but bro, this doesn't even sound real, let alone to actually experience this. There's no way this is real. You basically got jumped for absolutely no reason, but of course, I'm pretty sure there was a reason if it had to take place exactly like this. Jeez, I hope you're good, man. This just sounds terrible. Not only did you have a concussion, but your homie got the same fate as you, knocked out cold. Hey, but this guy's a trooper, man. You continued to work there? Nah, any normal person would honestly quit on the spot. Having to deal with a bunch of random people who are mad and suspicious must be freaking tense, man. I thought working at a hotel or any sort of kind of company that has hotels, I guess, I thought working there would be pretty chill, but after hearing this, heck no. I ain't working nor staying at a hotel anytime soon.